Basically, I just want to say thank you very much for coming. It's obviously a very exciting time right now. There's been a lot of work that has gone to get us to this point, a lot that you don't expect, and there's a lot of work still to be done. But all in all, it's just so exciting. I know the student athletes are pumped. We're pumped. All the people that are putting so much time and effort into organizing everything to move forward to the transition to D1, they're all pumped. So it's just an exciting time.
Questions? What's been the hardest part or the most challenging part of the transition from ACHA?
You know what? It's a lot of fun to do with the team. That's all fun. The most challenging part is things that you don't really realize from behind the scenes in terms of what it takes in terms of to being NCAA compliant, what it takes to move for event management, what it takes for everything that's new that didn't happen before, just to start it from. It's very difficult to hit the ground running. There's a lot of moving parts. So there's a lot of people. Fortunately, we have great people at Penn State in the athletics department, and they're dealing with a lot of that. It's a lot of work. That's the most challenging part. From the team standpoint, it's a lot of fun. We know that it's going to be a huge step up. We understand that in terms of the speed and the strength of the athletes, more so even the speed of the game, the thinking. And it's something that we'll have to work on every day at practice, and that's going to be a challenge as we've only had one practice. Obviously, that'll be a huge challenge for us the entire year. I'm sorry, did you say we were similar? Yeah, Jim? Well, last year it was basically a year-long tryout for those that wanted to be with us when we played D1, and I give all of them so much credit. I mean, what an exciting time for them. There's many of them, the upperclassmen, that came to Penn State because it's Penn State and to play club hockey, and now get the opportunity to play Division I. And they worked so hard all year. They worked so hard all summer. So there's 16 players from last year's team. They're on this year's team. To find the other 11, it's a lot of work. Keith Fisher, Matt Lindsay have been on the road nearly constantly to find the best student athletes that fit Penn State and fit our hockey program. So I think what you're going to see, I think you'll see added size up front. We wanted to address that, and we want guys that with high hockey IQs that can think, get up the ice, and like to score goals. Yeah. First of all, we want really good people. I think I was very impressed with the quality of our locker room that we had last year, and I was very fortunate to have great quality in some of the past programs that I've been in, and that's something that's really important to our staff. So number one, you want to find quality individuals and guys that understand what Penn State's all about, that really appreciate an excellent education. You want players that really appreciate passion of the student body and want to be a part of something special, not someone that just wants to arrive somewhere. The situation we're in, it's very important that we get people that really are hungry to build that and want to have that pride in building the foundation. So those are the kind of people we look for. As far as hockey, it's very important to us that we have high hockey IQ. We tend to be a very creative team. We don't put a lot of leashes on our players. We let them go, and if we're going to play that way, you've got to have smart hockey players. Yeah, we'll find out. I've never been a part of it. This is new for all of us, and there's very exciting. Both ends of that are exciting. You talked about the high-end Division I teams. We're playing Union, which made it to the Frozen Four last year. Obviously, we're going to Michigan State. We're going to Wisconsin. I mean, those are the top of the food chain. So for us to do that in our very first year is, of course, very daunting. We understand fully how good those programs are and how difficult they are to play. But it's a great opportunity for us to find out where we're at right now. So I think it's a great schedule. I'm very happy with what was put together. Obviously, Billy Downey deserves a lot of that credit, and I think it's perfect for where we are right now. You know, I think it was pretty. The reception we got was excellent. I think there's a lot of teams that want to play Penn State. There's also a lot of teams that understand the situation we're in and want to be a part of this year, which is a transition year to the Big Ten. So hockey's a great, I love college hockey. It's a great fraternity. There's a lot of coaches that want to help you out, and if they have the opportunity to play you that will help you, they want to do it. And at the same time, I think there's some that want to get us now. I think there's a lot of expectations on what's going to happen years in the future, and if I was them, I'd want to play us now too. Sure I am. I mean, the Big Ten it's the first time there's ever a Big Ten conference, and the teams in this conference in their respective conferences, have dominated, and they've dominated on a national level. I played in the WCHA, I coached in the CCHA, I know very well how good these programs are, how much pride and tradition they have, the success of not only their programs, but their alumni at the National Hockey League level. I have all the respect in the world for these programs, and we're very honored to be a part of them, and that's a huge draw to come to Penn State, not only for our staff but for our student athletes. It will be the best college conference in the nation, and to be a part of it is an honor. Certainly we understand how tough it is, we understand that, but that's why you come to Penn State, to compete against the best. I think it's going to have a tremendous effect, and if you talk to Mr. Pegula, that was one of his vision points of building the building that he wants. It's to encourage and be a catalyst for youth hockey in this area and all of Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania is getting better and better, and we're giving birth to some great hockey players. We just need a lot more of them, and I think the Pegula Ice Arena is going to be probably the most important factor that happens to youth hockey in this area. So if you can envision a decade down the road, I mean, I foresee a time when we have just passionate Pennsylvania kids that are great hockey players on a national level that grew up playing in Pegula Ice Arena, whether it's right here in this district or coming from tournaments from other areas across the state, that grow up just can't wait to play in front of 6,000 screaming fans at Pegula Ice Arena. Well, you could see him immediately. Number one, he's a 4.0 student. He takes academics very seriously. He's very intelligent. Besides that, the way he represents himself, not only to the coaching staff or the team, but just to himself in general and in public, is just excellent. I think he's a tremendous representative. And on the ice, he's a talented guy. He shoots the puck very well, as you've seen, but he does a lot of little things that don't get noticed. He does it with a great work ethic. And really, when you ask what are the qualities that we saw, this was, we actually put a vote to the team in terms of what players they thought had the highest levels of work ethic and commitment, what players represented themselves the best, what players were committed not only to Penn State University, the hockey program, and academics, and his name was at the top of the list. So we certainly agree with it as a coaching staff, but I think you have to give the credit for his captain's selection to the team.
You've got captains and assistant captains, one in each class as a freshman. What do you think on the leadership throughout the captain's roster?
Well, that's a good point. That wasn't by design. That's an interesting point. I think that we're very fortunate. I talked about the quality of the locker room before. I give the seniors of last year a lot of credit for that, as well as the juniors last year that are seniors now, and it's really nice that they were recognized as a whole. But I do think it's important. You want, just because we hope to have a whole locker room of leaders. You don't have to have a letter on your chest to be a leader. And we expect that everybody has that attitude. These are three individuals that, in terms of what we look at for the team, is important to be captains. But we certainly expect everybody to be a leader. Right now, I can tell you they have a lot of pride in this program and a lot of pride in Penn State University. So, like I said, hopefully we'll have an entire locker room of leaders. Anytime that you can be in that environment against the very best in the world, I think it's obviously a positive experience. I don't think that had a lot to do. That might have done something for his maturation, but he was already a very mature kid when he got here. Going recruiting across the nation, anytime we go to the USHL and bump into Sioux City where he played, there's people that always make a point to come up to me to not only ask about him, but to tell me a story about what a tremendous person he is, not just a hockey player, but a person. So I think he was well on his way. Certainly that experience is a tremendous one, but I think the players on this team that selected him, that voted for him, I don't think they saw that. They might have seen a little bit of added maturity or added moxie that it takes from getting that experience, but believe me, he was well on his way before that. Yeah, it was such a great experience. It was great to see. We didn't know what to expect. We had our first practice at 12:01 Friday night, which is the first opportunity we had to practice, and we invited people out to watch it. We had no idea what to expect, if we were going to get 3 people watching it or 53 people, and I think we ended up over 500 people watching practice. I thought it was tremendous. I think that the players were surprised. I don't think they expected that huge turnout. This is the first time we've ever done anything like that. I just thought it was fantastic. And the atmosphere and the questions by the student athlete or the student body, they love hockey. It was very apparent. I think every one of us that was on the ice had the experience of students coming up and just telling us how excited they were and that they can't wait for the season to start. So it was tremendous. And from a staff standpoint, what a great thing to see. Penn State's I just love Penn State. The student body here is the best in the world. Yeah, of course, and we're going to get that. I think, as I mentioned earlier, though, that it's really important. You asked what's important in a recruit. Number one, when you're in the situation that we're in, you want people that are hungry to be a part of that foundation and want the pride to look back years down the road and say, I was a part of that. To answer your question about Tommy Olczyk, I'll never forget his recruiting visit. When he came in, he spoke about that. He made a point to say, I can't wait, 10, 15 years down the road to look back at what we accomplished. And he has a real pride in building that and a commitment to that. So yes, there are players that that just want to go somewhere that's already established and go to some place as a destination where they've already arrived. We want to find the players like Tommy Olczyk that want to come here and are really hungry to build something.
More questions?
Yeah, there's a few things. There's a lot of things that you see that you don't see behind the scenes that, believe me, there's so many moving parts and takes so much work. And obviously we're very fortunate with our staff, Joe Batista and Bill Downey, to do that. They're in a constant mode of working in terms of that area. So there's a lot of challenges behind the scenes to get this going for sure. But as a team standpoint, I think when you talk about building the foundation, I think it's really important that you just know that it's something that takes constant attention. It's a process, and you have to really have a clear vision of that process from starting out and where you want to be along the line. And you can't. It's like a garden. You can't ignore it. And that's a challenge, I think, in every team. But for someone that's starting off, especially jumping into what we're going to jump into in the Big Ten, it's something that we have to accelerate it and pay attention to it all the time. So that's a challenge that the whole staff is committed to. I'm sorry, did you say we only had one official practice, or? Correct. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's interesting. It's not unusual in college hockey. Certainly, I think it's not ideal just to have 1 week and then jump into our first Division I games. So I think the guys have been working very hard off the ice with our strength coach, and they're allowed to skate on their own. We're allowed to condition the athletes. So we take advantage of every minute we can. But certainly it's a huge challenge with so many new players to address systems and objectives with only 1 week to go. Fortunately, we're all sort of in the same boat. But obviously the teams that have an established system are at an advantage over us right now. We're just going to do the best we can and try to improve every day. Sorry. That remains to be seen because we haven't played a game yet. But I did, I look back. I know that at Princeton, the first year, we ended up playing American International as well. I think we won 4-2, and 3 of the goals were scored by 2 guys that ended up playing in the NHL. So it's going to be interesting to look at what happened to see where we're at. Obviously, there's a lot of differences, but I think it'll be interesting for our staff to look back and see where we're going. We do have a vision in terms of creativity, and we want to play great hockey that the fans here are going to love to watch. In that sense, I'm very excited about it. We've got guys that you're really going to enjoy watching, and some of them are in very big frames as well. You've got guys, you take Max Gardner, who's a third-round NHL draft choice to the St. Louis Blues, who has tremendous skill. He's got a lot of offensive creativity, but he's doing it in a 6'3" package, and he's fun to watch. I mean, I think you've talked about the challenges. Some of the challenges right now for the coaching staff, I think, is to keep our mind on what we're trying to accomplish in practice and not get caught enjoying watching some of these guys. I think it's an exciting team right now. I look forward to seeing the identity that not only we're hoping they get, but each team will although you have a direction for them to go, each team and every year has their own little identities that come out, and we're all very curious to see what that's going to be.
Time for one more question.
Sure, Bob.
What would define a successful season?
Yeah.
A win-loss, or is it some other measure?
No, we will not be judging our success and our progress through wins and losses. Certainly, the wins and losses are going to be a byproduct of the job we do in terms of how we do with the foundation, but we're going to judge it in terms of how quickly and how consistently we all get on the same page. We're going to be judged on what we control in the areas, how we do in the areas that we can control, and some of those are statistical, some of those are just in terms of the team coming together and not only our identity, how consistent we are with that, but how consistent our commitment is to the areas that we talk about as a team, and we look at that every day. So it's not just going to be a matter of this many wins and this many losses. I tell you what, as a team that's their first year in the NCAA Division I, to play teams like, to go to Michigan State and Wisconsin, to say that you didn't have statistical success. You could have great success and achieve great strides that might not show up on the score, but are going to be huge for the success that we have years down the road.
We have Tommy and Nate in a couple minutes. Thank you very much, Coach.
Hey, thank you very much for coming, everybody.